So next we're going to cover how to load grades into the gradebook on Renweb. So I'm going to begin by going to renweb.com, using either Firefox or Internet Explorer as my search engine. And now that I'm at the Renweb home screen, I'm going to go over to logins again and do my faculty web login. And now we're back to this main faculty screen again. And we're going to come over to the left menu bar where we found lesson plans, and we're going to move up here to the gradebook and select. Once you're in the gradebook, you're going to come over and select your class again, just like we do in lesson plans. And I'm going to keep picking on Mrs. Boyd and select Math, grade 4. And as you can see, all the students are already in your class. That is the only thing that will be in your class when you first open it. You'll also have to select the semester, semester 1 or semester 2. So once you select semester 2, it should already be the default semester, but once you do it the first time, it should stay there so that every time you go back in, you will not have to toggle back and forth between semesters unless you need to move to the former semester to check a grade or make a change. Now this print grid just gives you the option to print the grid that you have for your class currently. The first thing you need to do when you open your class up after you select the class and the term is go to setup to set up how you want your grades calculated. You have the option of a point system where it tallies the total number of points, a weighted percentage, which is what most teachers do traditionally, or a mixture of both. I'm going to assume that most people are going to do a weighted percentage, and that's what we're going to do here. It works very similarly on the point system. You just enter the total point value for each different category and each assignment, and it'll calculate the grade the same way. For the remainder of the selections, we're going to ask you to leave it at the default setting. And if you make any changes, you can always go over to this button over here and click Load Default, and it'll take it back to the default setting. We want to make sure that the CAP grade at 100% and the CAP term grade at 100% are not selected. We do not want those selected so that students can actually earn over 100, especially for the high school. Make sure also that the time frame says semester. It should be part of your default setting, but if it says term, you're going to want to switch it to semester because we are on a 2-semester system. When you're finished setting up your setup page, you're going to click Save. And as you can see, I have already entered some categories here, but I'm going to show you that if I were to go into another class like 3rd grade history, there are no averages, no categories or assignments entered. So this is what most of the classes are going to look like. And Laura Boyd's will look like that too once I delete everything that I've created for her. So I'm going to go back to 4th grade math and just show you. I have a few categories here, and I'm going to show you how to add a category and then add an assignment in that category. So the first thing I'm going to do is add a category. So I click this Add Category button, and the title for my category has to be like between 5 and no more than 8 characters. Otherwise, it's not going to fit in this little box up here that it has to appear in. So if it's homework, I need to abbreviate it with an HW or something. I'm going to call this one projects, and I'm going to abbreviate it with P-R-O-J. And I'm just going to write out the description, projects done in class, and I'm going to give it a weight. Now, make sure that when you give all of your categories a weight, the system will not check you to make sure that your percentages all equal 100. You have to do that, and obviously that's going to be something that you have to check carefully, because if you make a mistake on that, it really does significantly impact your students' grades. So I'm going to give class projects 20% weight. You have the option here to auto drop the lowest category grades. So you can automatically have every lowest grade for each category dropped if you want to, or you can manually do that. I'm not going to do that here. I'm just going to click Save and Exit. You can choose your semesters that you want this to apply for. Save and Exit. Okay, now you can see I've got CP for class participation. I've got HW for homework. I've got projects at 20%, tests at 25%. There is a category here for curve, which will not apply except for the high school, if there's a curve because of an honors or AP course. And then it tallies the average here. So if I come over to here, this is what this summary button shows, okay? Every single category average for each student in the class, and their calculated average for the course. If I click this asterisk, it will show each individual assignment or test and the grade for each one, and still their average. So that the asterisk actually shows a breakdown of the assignments. And then here is each different category. As you can see, I've not entered any class participation grades. I've entered homework grades. I've got no project grades, and I have no test grades. Okay, let's go into